The first thing you got to learn when you want to learn how to fight or do any kind of martial arts combatives is your fighting stance and how to stand and to defend yourself. You can normally tell whether somebody knows how to fight just judging by their fighting stance. I can look at somebody's fighting stance and I can tell whether they know how to scrap or not. That's just the reality of it. When I see guys standing like this, I can tell they don't know how to fight. So it's important that you present yourself in a capacity to be able to defend yourself. I don't like the term stance for African martial art, for Kembat science, for what we do in Yobè, simply because I don't want you to be static. It's not a stance in terms of being a statue. It is a fighting posture. It is how you want to position yourself in relation to your opponent. So your fighting posture in Yobè and African martial arts is always going to be in relation to your opponent based off what your opponent is doing or how your opponent presents itself. Sometimes my fighting posture is going to be here, going to be trying to talk the person down. This is a fighting posture. I can still defend myself. I've got one leg forward. I can still strike. I can still move. I can use my footwork. That can be a potential fighting posture. So it's always going to be based off what your opponent is doing. However, for the basis of this lesson, we want to give you guys at least a basic position from which to start that will generally set the stage, give you the principles and concepts from which you should base your fighting position. Okay, so first thing is always start with the feet. As people of African descent, it's important with regards to our martial art and everything that we do that we understand our connection to the earth, our connection to nature. I always preach about this and talk about this, but you need to be rooted in the ground. So know where your feet are. Your foot placement is the most important thing. What that means is that if there's an imaginary line on the floor, which you can see this white line here, I want my toe on the line and my heel on that line. This is very basic posture that you'll get from boxing. You'll get in many different forms of martial arts because it gives you balance to your left. It gives you balance to your right. Both are good. Whether you decide to have your right side forward or your left side forward, doesn't really matter. You should learn to fight with both sides forward. So you're going to have your feet here in this basic posture. I want you to kind of be on your toes though, but you're not on your tippy toes. You're not here where you're off balance. But the pressure is in the toes, meaning that maybe you can get like a sheet of paper underneath your heel. It's very slight, slightly off the ground, very, very slight, but allows me to shift my weight and be more mobile. I'm ready to move. I'm pressing into the floor with the ball of my feet. My knees are slightly bent. My stance is also bladed. What that means is that I'm angled to the side. My hands are up. My chin is tucked. Shoulders are slightly raised and my elbows are in. This is generally where you're going to be. This is going to be your general posture from which you fight. Now, a lot of times for me, and we use various types of forms in Yobè African martial arts. So for example, off of this basic posture here, I'm going to have a shield and a spear position. What that means is that I'm going to have a shield. This is shielding where I'm covered. My palms are towards my face. This is a shield position. You'll see this in boxing similar to a peekaboo position. The difference with us with a shield versus say a peekaboo in boxing is that our shield is very offensive. It's very aggressive. So even though I'm shielding here, I'm actually going to be using this to press forward, to press in with the elbows, with the forearms. I'm smashing in. So even though I'm shielding, yes, I'm shielding, but guess what? I'm throwing elbows in here in the process. And I'm using my forearms. So I'm very active and offensive here, even though I'm shielding and even though I'm quote unquote blocking or defending. Because for us, our offense is our defense is our offense. There's no difference between the two. We use offense as defense and we use our defense as offense as well. So this is a shield posture. But the same thing goes. I've got a good distance between my feet. You want to make sure your feet are past your shoulders, okay? We're not doing this shoulder width thing where your center of gravity is very high. It needs to be past my shoulders, okay? Just here, maybe, a little bit past your shoulders, maybe 6 inches or so past your shoulders. That's where you want to be. You want to relax. Okay, exhale into your posture here, okay? You want to sit your weight down and stay relaxed. It should be like a walk in the park. When you're fighting, it should be like nothing's really happening at all. It should just be a regular day in the park. You should be very comfortable here, ready to do what you have to do. It shouldn't be a tense thing where you're really tense, you're nervous, you're anxious, have all this anxiety. But that comes from experience, training and sparring in front of people. So anyway, I'm here. I'm kind of light on my feet here, light on my toes. I might have my front heel up. I might have my back heel up. I might rotate between the two, but generally I got the pressure in the balls of the feet, and we're here. So again, I've got the shield posture here, but I also have what we call a spear. Spear posture is where our palms are facing outward now, okay? Shield and spear, shield and spears. Palm facing outward now, you're your intention now is more forward. My intention now is more to go forward. Maybe I'm grabbing, maybe I'm striking. I'm extending from my body at this point. So my intention is to go forward for some reason, whatever that is, right? Whether it's to parry, deflect, block, catch, grab, okay? You know, hit them in the face, whatever it happens to be, okay? But this is a spear. Now we have a short spear and we have a long spear. What that means is that I can be short here where I'm very tight, which is very good. Shoulders are raised, chin is still tucked. I'm very tight, I'm very guarded here, right? I'm looking through the center of my hands. This is very good because when I teach striking and defense, this is a good posture because what this allows you to do is it allows you to eliminate your opponent's options. What I mean by that is that when your opponent's at long range, and if we're just talking about punches here, he's basically has 2 or 3 lines of attack from which he can attack you on. He can attack you straight down the middle. This is going to be typically a jab cross, one of the two or both, right? Maybe doing a jab and cross, or he can come with a hook punch, right? Hook punch out to my left side or hook punch out to the right side. So I can block here. But this allows me to eliminate the options from which, you know, he may potentially attack. So if he attacks in the middle, guess what? I have 2 hands to deal with those attacks in the middle. And if he attacks out to the side, I have the hands out here out to the side. So if you think about it in terms of multiple choice, you have option A, B, and C. A, B, and C. So it's multiple choice. So if you're not sure what your opponent's going to do, set up your spear and understand, hey, I got 2 hands to deal with B. If he goes for A or if he goes for C, you know, I can do it that way as well. But try to eliminate options. Don't think about it like, oh, he can hit me anywhere he wants. So you need to eliminate those things. Set up your short spear to facilitate that. But again, that only happens at range. We're not talking about kicks and things like that. That's a different topic. Now, we have a long spear. It's a little bit longer range now. So I still have my rear hand a little bit closer to me. But my lead hand now is going to extend out a little bit. The reason I do this is to keep more distance, to keep more range. Maybe my opponent is very aggressive and he's moving forward to me. And I don't want him to get that close because maybe I'm a long range fighter. I want to keep my range, or I just need more time to be able to figure out what I want to do and how to defend myself. Whatever the reason is, you can extend your arm here, which keeps more of a barrier between you and your opponent. So these are our 3 main postures in Yobè Kembat science or African martial art: is our shield, short spear, and our long spear. And play with both of these, right? A lot of this is going to depend on, you know, how you want to move and adding your footwork to it. Again, it's not a stance. You're not static. You're not a statue here. You're not a video game character with a stance. You have to modify your stance, and sometimes I'll float between the different stances, or postures rather, okay? Sometimes I'll flow between the different postures depending on my distance. When I'm at long range, maybe I'm using more of a longer spear, and maybe I get closer, I use a short spear. And maybe if I'm in the pocket, I'm using more of the shield because I want to throw maybe some hooks and things like that and grab, all those kind of things. So you will vary your posture, your fighting posture, based off distance, range, the type of opponent you have, whether he's aggressive or whether he's passive, the type of strikes that he's throwing, right? So if I may not be using a shield if he's kicking me a lot, because now I'm getting leg kicked and it's harder to deal with maybe. Maybe I'm using a short spear, which may allow me to kind of grab the kick or grab his legs and deal with those in a different manner. So work on those 3 different postures and poses. The foundation will remain the same, being rooted in the earth, rooted in the ground, connected to nature, which is important for us. Always be connected to your feet. Always know where your feet are, especially in relation to your opponent. Make sure that if you're my opponent, my feet aren't here, where my feet are crossed up or they're on the same line. Now I'm very narrow. I'm getting kicked in the leg. You're taking my back. It's hard for me to rotate to my punches. I'm blocked my own foot when I'm trying to kick. All sorts of issues and problems happen. Or if my stance is here, my groin is open. You're kicking me in the groin and blasting me all, you know, in the face. All those things are bad news for you. So again, guys, this is Brother Rob with Yobè Kembat Science, African Martial Art.
The purpose of our organization is to start right here in Harlem, which has the largest concentration of people of African descent that exists anywhere on this earth. There are more Africans here in Harlem than exist in any city on the African continent, because that's what you and I are, Africans.